Peace and blessings. Happy Monday. Oh my God. Welcome back. It is another Monday, another week, another opportunity to recommit to your life. Look, every Monday you can show up the same way you've been showing up and dreading that it's Monday, but dread is no way to motivate yourself to show up. Or you can show up to your Monday and go, great, it's another week to recommit to my goals, to recommit to my agenda, and recommit to my life. So I hope that this quote today gets you in that mental space and in that heart space where you're feeling it. You're feeling like that recommitment is there and you're ready to show up to your week differently. So let's jump into the quote with Mr. Brendan Burchard, one of my favorites, a mentor and inspiration to me. I was trained as a coach by him and his method, and he is just a powerful person. So I have probably, I don't know, hundreds of quotes written down by him. This is one of my favorites, so this is one that I keep close at hand so that I can turn to it and reflect on it regularly to remind myself. So I know if I need the reminder and I need to hear it regularly, you probably could benefit from hearing it and being reminded about it too. So he says, who we become is a result of disciplined action. Who we become is a result of disciplined action. Now let me unpack this word discipline for a moment, because I know some of us, I don't like that word discipline, because we equate discipline to being punished, and so we just don't like discipline because maybe we had been disciplined through our childhood and it wasn't fun and it wasn't good and it didn't really serve you. It just kind of shut you down, and so you don't really like discipline. And I ask you, how far has that gotten you in life? You know, we need to be disciplined, and by nature as humans we are wired to be disciplined. I guarantee you have some disciplines right now, but they aren't serving you. I bet you're pretty disciplined in your Netflix binging on the weekend, or you're pretty disciplined in how much Instagram time you get every week. You're pretty disciplined in being aware of how other people are getting ahead of you. Like, there are things that we are disciplined in. Some of us are disciplined in hitting the snooze button every single morning. Some of us are really disciplined in complaining about everything in our life. Right? Discipline is something that you are committed to doing again and again and again, because it's what molds you and shapes you and forges your character, which is why when we are children and we're out of line, we have to be disciplined, not punished, but disciplined. We need to be taught how to be consistently showing up with things that serve us so that we can be our best person. Right? If you're not disciplined about how much sleep you get all the time, you're not going to show up as your best person. Right? If you're not disciplined in doing your homework at school, you're not going to get good grades. It's just that simple. Like, we need routine in our lives that help us anchor down into the goodness of who we are so that we can really rise up into the greatness that is available to us. And disciplines are what get us there. So, you know, I want to ask you to reflect on, what disciplines do you have? Like, what are you doing regularly? Think of a discipline as something that you do regularly. You just do it regularly. What are you doing regularly, and is it serving you? Right? Some of us are real disciplined in, avoiding things in our life. We've been doing it for so long, we're real good at it because we've disciplined ourselves to be good at it. I hope you're following. I hope this is landing, because I think this is really, really powerful, especially coming into the new year as you're starting to contemplate your life and the year ahead of you and what you want out of it and who you want to be in it. You got to look at, where are you disciplined? Are you disciplined in putting things off till tomorrow? Because, tomorrow never comes. It's always tomorrow. So what are you disciplined in? And is that discipline serving you? Some of you are really disciplined in your yoga practice, and I want you to reflect on, how has that served you? Some of you are really disciplined on your food regimens, whatever that may be, whether it's a superfood you're taking or things that you don't eat, a lifestyle, a culture around food that you participate in or don't participate in. You've been real disciplined. You've been doing it for a long, consistent period of time. This quote reminds me of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, where he talks about, I think it's in the second chapter, it might be in the first chapter, I think it's the first chapter, could be the second chapter. I'm going to look it up after I film this video. Patanjali says that, in order to achieve yoga, which ultimately is this sense of unity, union, connection, a rejoining with your higher self, your truest self, and your creator, if you so desire, that we have to, like, one of the necessary ingredients is that we got to show up. He says Durga Kala for a long period of time. And Durga, some of you are familiar with the goddess Durga, but that word is also translated to as painful. Painful. So we have to, really be able to show up to the pain that comes with disciplining ourselves in ways that we don't like. We don't want to be disciplined to exercise every day. People would much rather just lay around and enjoy life at a slow pace, right? But we have to discipline ourselves to show up to the gym, discipline ourselves to show up on our yoga mat, discipline to put those jogging shoes on and go jogging when it's super cold and you're really tired, right? That's discipline is what gets you through those moments. Motivation will only get you so far. So if you're motivated to start a habit, right, do it, because that habit, if you do it long enough, becomes a discipline. They say it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. Fabulous. Dive into it. It takes 90 days to make that habit a routine, or we could also say discipline. Your routines that you do regularly, when you do them enough, they become a discipline. It's just something that you do to create a certain lifestyle. And so, my friends, I just ask you to reflect on, where have you been disciplined in your life, and is that discipline serving you? And coming back to that idea of, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, that, we, in order to achieve true self, we got to show up consistently over a long period of time. This is his word specifically in this verse. You have to show up consistently over a long period of time. And he also says in this verse, with devotion. Like, meaning you don't dread the whole thing. You're not complaining the whole time. You're not like mad at the world because you got to do these things. You're committed, you show up, and you know that difficult discipline, that difficult part of building the discipline, is that pain is worth it, because what is on the other side of that pain is a really amazing reward, which is your greatest self. I know that that's what you want. I know you're thinking about 2020 and really stepping out of mediocrity and into some kind of greatness, no matter what level it is. You're thinking about it. And so think about those disciplines that you have. Are you disciplined at staying up late and getting up late? Or are you disciplined at going to bed at time, getting up early and doing your practices and starting your day right? Right? So think about your life. Think about, where have you been disciplined? Where have you not been disciplined? What would you like to start and create? And start now. Don't wait till January 1st. Don't wait till January 1st, because there's a sense of January, like something magical is going to happen on January 1st, and you're going to be a changed person. All of a sudden you're going to be into it. Right? We're hyping ourselves up that something special is going to land on us on January 1st, but often nothing special lands on us January 1st. We wake up and it just feels like a regular day, or it feels really shitty because we partied the night before. So start now. Start now. Right? Start right now by just contemplating disciplines that would serve you, even if it's just one discipline. If you missed my Instagram live the other day, I dropped this quote that I heard that I'm going to make another video about it, but I'm just going to leave it here for you. Big doors swaying on small hinges. Your journey into 2020 and all the greatness that you can really manifest and live into in 2020, it doesn't come from these big giant leaps and big huge changes and huge transformations that just happen overnight. That door opens to you. That door that lets you walk out of the field of mediocrity into the field of greatness. That door that opens, that big giant door that feels like it's so heavy to push open, right? You've been pushing on that door for a long time now. You've been knocking, you've been trying to rattle the doorknob and it's not opening, right? But that big door, it swings on really small hinges. It's the hinges that allow it to open. It's the hinges that allow the movement for that door to open. So those small hinges are your small acts that you take every day that we would call discipline. Those small acts that you do every day, whether it's journaling every night, whether it's meditating every day, whether it's staying on that food regimen for every day or your 3 weeks or however long you're doing it. You got to stay committed to those disciplines. Disciplines are routines that serve your growth. Disciplines are routines that serve your growth. You have to refrain from avoid doing them, and you have to refrain from doing them halfway, right? Like you got to make yourself do these things. Disciplines are always things that are not easy, but when you do them enough, you create this muscle memory that your discipline turns into something that you enjoy doing because you see the fruits of the roots that you put down into the work that you've been doing. Your work are the roots. Your effort is what grows those roots. And once you have those solid roots, only once you have those roots can you begin to bear all these fruits in your life. And so my friends, who we become is the result of disciplined action. Disciplined action. Not unconscious action, right? Not scattered action, not spontaneous action. Who we become is a result of disciplined action. So I want you to look back, reflect on just the last couple of months. Don't even look back super far. Don't beat yourself up. You don't need to do that. Just look back the last 3 months, the last 6 months. Be honest, like real time. What am I doing right now? Who cares what it was 10 years ago? That's what we're talking about right now. Find a small hinge and grease up that hinge by putting some action, some effort into it. Recommit. Maybe it's been a discipline that you let go of. Maybe it's a discipline you always wanted to do. Recommit. Recommit. Don't worry about the past right now. Just dive into the moment. Recommit, because your greatness awaits you. It is waiting for you. And all you got to do is have that hunger to get there. So I want you to just take some time to reflect. I know I've said that several times because it's important. Take time to reflect on your disciplined action and your unconscious disciplined actions. And how can you rewrite that story? How can you make that new? How can you recommit and reclaim your agenda again? What disciplined action do you need to be doing in order to be that great person that you want to be? You can't be that great person by continuing to do what you always do. You have to think, this is this great person I want to be. If I was that great person right now, what disciplined action would I be taking? And you got to do that disciplined action. That is how you become great. You don't become great and then get disciplined. Right? So show up for yourself and find some disciplined action that you can take in your life, even if it's just for today. Even if it's just for today. Right? That would kind of defeat the purpose of discipline. But if you can just commit to something today and just stay on the step that you're in and just show up today, and then tomorrow you recommit, and then tomorrow you recommit. That's what I'm talking about. Even if you just are thinking about today. My friends, your greatness awaits you, and you deserve to really step into that playing field, and I want nothing more than that for you. So thank you for tuning in, for listening and taking time. I hope you took some notes here and you wrote some things down, and you take some time to journal about what you have heard in this video today. If you like this video, please drop me a like down below. It helps in so many ways. And if you really like this video and you think you have a friend or family member in your life who could benefit from hearing this, please pay it forward and share this knowledge with them. My whole mission is just to help you rise. I want nothing more than for you to believe in yourself, because I believe in you. I know there's greatness in you, and I believe in that greatness. And I really, it brings me so much joy to hear about and to see so many of you stepping into it. So step forward into your life, take some disciplined action, recommit today, and enjoy your week. Have a fabulous week, and I will see you next Monday. Keep your head up high and your heart open wide. Peace out and bless up, my friends. Namaste.